You're watching PowerNation.
Well, Project Cream Puff is back in the shop, and we bring our hood hinges into the modern era.
Plus, we build a new bed floor to accommodate our new wheel tubs and our lowered stance. All that and more on Music City Trucks.
Well, hey guys, welcome to Music City Trucks.
And as you can see behind us, we got the old C10 in the shop, and it's looking a little bit more like a truck than the last time you saw it. We went ahead and mocked up our bed in the back, we welded up our trans tunnel and our high hump, and then we also installed our front clip. There's one more thing we got to do up here today, and that's install the hood.
Yeah, when we put those slosh tub inner fenders on there, well, we had to cut out the area where the factory hood hinge attached. So we relocated it here on the cowl area. Now these brackets work really nice. All we got to do is take this piece here, we're going to attach it, and then get the hood back on it, lined up where we like, and weld it on together.
Oh yeah, and I think you drew the short straw on that one, so I think that's going to be you climbing in that hole.
Yeah, it's going to be a little awkward to get up in there, but we'll take care of it.
We'll get her done.
All right, get the hood back on.
Let's see what she's looking like. Get my fingers out of there.
Check this latch. Perfect. Check the gaps here.
Like it was made for it.
Yeah. See, now's the opportunity where you want to go through and spend a little extra time getting all your gaps where you want, how you like it, before we weld it in for good.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to have it locked down tight to where, you know, final's gonna be, because after paint, stuff's gonna move, but you wanna get it close, that way that you know that you're gonna be close after paint.
All right, so now I'm gonna grab the welder and then crawl up in there and get them welded on.
Let's get her done.
All right, let's see. Yeah, somewhere back there. Spray and pray, right? I'll do another one for good measure up here. There we go. Right about there. All right, let me give it one more. Little tack back here in the corner, and we can get out of this awkward position here. Somewhere right in there. That's good enough. I think that'll stick.
Got her all glued up.
I think so.
Let's see what we got.
Okay.
Do-si-do?
Yep. There they are.
Look at that.
All right, let's get it welded on for good.
Burn it in. All right, now that Mike's got these hinge plates tacked to the hood, I can go ahead and start welding them up. I'm gonna give him a little bit of a hand because he's at the chiropractor right now after crawling out of that engine bay. That was a bit of a tight fit in there. So I'm gonna use my trusty TIG welder and we'll get these things burned in. Now, since we're welding to the brace and not the actual hood, you could actually do this job with a painted hood. I would still put some protection between the brace and the hood, but it can be done. Now with these hood plates being so much thicker than the sheet metal, it's a good idea to keep your heat concentrated on the thicker plate. That way you're not burning through that thin sheet metal. All right.
You got yours tight?
I'm looking pretty good over here.
All right, go ahead and run it down. We'll check it out.
Let's see what we got.
All right, well, gaps look even.
Nice and straight, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, a little adjustment here when we're after paint, which is probably not gonna fit anyway, but
pop it up.
see what we got.
Smooth, not binding. That's perfect.
Can't complain.
All
What's
right.
next on the list?
Well, we got that checked off, so head to the back.
Let's go.
We'll take you to a creative interior shop that is making it easy to get an affordable custom interior. Well, when we tore this thing apart, one of the first things we did is we took the interior and we headed up north to Kentucky to our friends at Auto Kustoms.
Where they got a cool little shop and a good group of guys. Check this out.
When it comes to transforming classic trucks into rolling works of art, few names stand out like Auto Kustoms. Founded in 2015 by Jonas Talby and Eric DeMumbrin, this award-winning team has spent over a decade turning raw ideas into stunning custom interiors. Driven by a shared passion of old iron and unmatched craftsmanship, they've built a reputation for creating one-of-a-kind masterpieces that celebrate both tradition and innovation.
We started out just doing pretty much any custom, hot rods, classics, but we've kind of went into a niche of just sticking with trucks mainly. We're getting known for doing that. We just do a lot of the 48 to 54, 3100s, and of course all the C10s, mainly square bodies.
We're kind of on the same page when it comes to like how we, like the things that we like, and that's across the board with like music and you know art and these cars and stuff like that. So when it comes to designing, we kind of just plug right in and make it happen and usually kill it, knock it out of the park. So it seems like we have a pretty good following, I think, because of our designs. So I mean, obviously there's better designs and there's worse designs, but people really love ours. So we're pretty blessed with that.
Today, Auto Kustoms is still doing full one-off interiors, but is streamlining its process by introducing custom, made-to-order interiors designed for budget-conscious DIY enthusiasts. These interiors fit 1947 to 91 GM trucks with a special emphasis on the ever-popular GM square body.
Yeah, so we're trying to get away from doing the full custom stuff and trying to do more of a production line, so the do-it-yourself guy can just order something and install it themselves. And we have 9 patterns right now, but we're mainly going to release 3 just right off to see how it goes, and then we'll go more after that.
Over the years, we've done a lot of interiors for square body trucks. So since we saw such a need for that and a need for like a reasonably priced interior, we decided to make a pattern set for those trucks and start kind of offering a way for somebody to have a cool interior, but without having to spend a fortune on it, on like a one-off interior like we also do. We just came up with some designs that seemed to be popular, that people really liked, that we were doing before we did that, and we just kind of dialed them in and made a pattern set. Yeah, we definitely did it to help the consumer. The custom interior prices have gone up, quite a bit. All of us, all the shops that are good at what they do, they got a 2-3 year waiting list, and some people can't afford that. Some people don't want to wait that long, so or both. So that's why we created something that was different than some of the other products that are on the market, that is more affordable but also somewhat custom. So that's kind of what we were after.
And this may be the coolest building I've ever seen an interior shop in.
I know, right? This place has got a lot of character.
Yeah, I like that brick. All right, you got the door there, buddy?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Afternoon, fellas.
What's up?
Hey, you must be Eric?
I'm Eric.
Hey, Anthony Sorreo, Music City Trucks.
What's up, Anthony?
Good to meet you.
Mike.
What's up, Mike?
Nice to meet you, man.
Heard you boys are the ones that come to for truck interiors.
We certainly are.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
see
got
that
a few truck
sitting there.
parts for you. Jonas,
That looks
What's
nice.
on?
how you doing, Mike?
Yeah,
Jonas,
nice to meet you.
Anthony.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, sir.
We got some C10 stuff here, huh?
Yes, we do. Thinking hopefully you guys can set us up with a good-looking interior.
I think we can handle that.
Yeah.
That's where the trucks go.
Yeah. That looks pretty nice sitting over there.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, that's our one of our square body sets we do. We actually specialize in the square body stuff for like the DIY guy.
Oh, yeah?
People could send in their interior and they could send all their parts to us. We could wrap them, get them ready to go. We could build them a cover, ship them the cover. They can install it themselves.
Man,
But this is actually a little bit more of a custom version of what we would offer, but it's totally doable. So.
Well, it's beautiful, man. That's exactly, I mean, as somebody that builds trucks for myself, that seems like a really good solution that you're always looking for. It's hard to find interior parts.
For sure. Yeah, we saw that there was kind of a need for that, so we decided to build a pattern system and make something for those guys.
Right. No, it's beautiful. I like the patterns. Do you have any more patterns we could check out?
Yeah, we actually have a card right here.
Oh, look at that. So you can pick different stitching for different stuff, and then you can also pick inserts.
Yep. So those are our 9 patterns, and then you can customize them however you want. Like that one over there, for instance, it would be our custom pattern with a different top on it. But you can do different stitching, and this was actually before we got that big beautiful machine over there. So we can do we have all kinds of options for that we can do now on the inserts.
So what do you have for the options on those gray areas?
So we got plenty of options on those. Got all these sew outs right here.
Oh man, you weren't lying.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
there's lots of options.
You definitely come up with some different designs over the years and makes it interesting.
And we can come up with anything off the fly too.
Yeah, man, you gotta love technology, right?
Logos and things like that. Yeah.
That's like a Porsche pattern.
With that double stitching there.
Yeah, that one's pretty wild.
I know, I kind of like something that wide look for that truck.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, dude. Little radius.
Yeah, because we can do this in the headliner insert too.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously you can do any color stitching. I mean,
Any color.
We think purple.
I like purple. I don't have a problem with purple.
We have a nice rainbow.
Although yellow and purple, I don't know. I don't know about the basketball fans. It might be
Oh, like a Lakers.
out west. Yeah, it's
Lakers deal.
it's a Lakers
Just
deal.
finding something that fits the truck for what you're going for. That's the
Options
confusing
are
part.
endless. Yeah.
We're gonna be here a while. I feel like.
Most people come in with the idea of what they want, and then when they leave, they're more
It's completely
confused.
different.
More confused.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I mean, we got some more stuff in the truck. Why don't you let us go grab it? You boys can get to work.
All right, sounds good.
Right on. Our lowered stance is creating some issues for our bed. We'll show you how to fabricate a new frame for your wood floor.
Now, previously we've shown y'all the new bed panels we got from Brothers Trucks, but because of the step notch and the frame setup, well, we can't use that factory floor. So we've got to do a little bit of engineering of our own to make it work.
Yeah, a little engineering or a lot, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, with the rear drop member that we got from Porterbilt, they give you frame rails that allow you to use the existing rear cross sill mounting locations. So we went ahead and did that back here, but up front, we had to do something just a little bit different. And the way I like to do these trucks is I run a piece of 2x1 rectangular tubing that's in the front bed panel here, and then I'll build a couple of brackets that hang down and mount to the stock locations. That just seems to be the easiest way to get that front mounted to the frame. It was a little tricky getting with this. This is for the air tank and for the ECU for all the air ride, but we got it figured out, and it's locked down now. So now what we got to do today is we got to figure out all our pieces for raising this wood bed floor. Now, the wheel wells are going to come into play. There's going to be a lot of stuff while we're going in and cutting everything that we have to figure out kind of on the fly. But we have a general idea of what we want to do. So what do you want to get to it?
Yeah, so pretty much, like you're saying, this is the factory spot for the old floor, and we've got to bring it up somewhere on this area to clear that notch right there. So we just got to get some tubing and make a little frame, and next thing you know, we'll be finished with that. So
Let's get to cutting.
Get to it.
All right, let's see what we got here. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and slap this wheel tub up on the bed here. Now, we already knew that we're gonna have to cut a little bit of the top out to match the radius on the inside of the bed here, since we're going up a little bit higher.
Yeah, I got that piece of wood there on the frame. That's going to be the same thickness as the Bedwood kit, so that'd be a good starting point there.
Yeah, and that's all we're looking for right now is just a visual idea of where we want to be. Mm-hmm. Now, we've already kind of spitballed, and we've figured that we're going to start our piece of 1x right on the top of this bead roll here. And what that's going to do, it's going to give us a little bit of breathing room between the frame rails and the underside of this bed frame. I think it's going to be pretty good there.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to do it.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do here first is tube out the entire perimeter of this, and then I'll go back through. That's going to set our height, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get all the inner frame around the wheels, and our structure going across so that when we put the bedwood in, we have somewhere to bolt to.
Yeah, the attachment point. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's get to cutting some tubing.
All right, I'll go fire up that old chop saw.
All right.
All right, with our front and rear width measurements taken, we'll kick things off by cutting a couple of pieces of 2x1 rectangular tubing. We'll tack those in place using some vertical tubing cut to the right height so it clears those step notches on the frame. Once the front and rear are tacked into place, I'll drop in 2 lateral pieces to tie them together, making sure the wheel tub flanges land right where they should. After that, we'll cut a few shorter pieces to tie into the bed sides. That'll give us a solid mounting point for the front and rear tub flanges while adding rigidity. Finally, we'll box in the rest of the framework along the bedside. That's going to beef up the strength and give us plenty of spots to mount the bedwood strips. That's all she wrote.
We finished up the floor on our bed and relocate the battery boxes to give us a clean look.
So now that we have our perimeter all tacked into place, our frame's basically done, we can go ahead and we can start putting in our pieces that actually hold the wood down to the bed. And so what we're using is from Bedwood are these hidden fastener stainless strips. And basically what it is, it's just a T-bolt that attaches to this track inside. And this is what actually mounts the wood down to the bed frame. But I gotta put a couple pieces horizontally to actually get it to mount, and I've also got to put some in the corners here, and I'm going to do that diagonally, a couple 45s on each end, and we should be good. So I got a couple more measurements to get, so I'm going to get to that right now. We'll get her done. All right, first thing I'm going to do is find the center of our opening here, and then I'm going to pull 3 measurements off that, and we'll get to the saw. Now that we have our measurements, I'll cut out our pieces using some 1x1 square tubing. This will give us the ability to shave a little weight on the bed frame, as well as giving us ample room to attach our bedwood strips. Once cut, I'll remove our wheel tubs and clamp some support pieces to our bed frame, making sure our tubing is on the same plane. Then, we can tack them into place.
All right, well, how's it going back here?
Oh, well, I got her tacked up. You know, we just got to yank this thing off and weld it up. But I think you got to put some batteries in first, right?
Yeah, you know, this would be a good time to access the area to put the batteries in, because we are going to put the batteries in the back of the truck. Y'all liked it so much on the 632
Yeah, I think
SS,
I built this brace right here. We can stack them right on top of the wood, maybe run the cables along the seams.
Right, yeah, no bed cover. We'll just let them be out there in the wide open like that.
Easily accessible.
Right, easy to get to. No, we're just kidding on that. We are going to mount the batteries in the back, but they've got a nice location to go to on this frame. Here, let me help you get out of here.
Yeah, I would love to get out of here. I've had enough of it.
All right, like that. And then for those battery boxes, we got these boxes here from Porterbilt. They're actually made for this kit on that chassis there. They'll bolt right up to the provision. So we're going to get this bolted on and get our batteries in. All right, now like I said before, we're gonna use 2 batteries on this truck to give us plenty of juice to spin over that beast behind me, and also power for our air ride system for all the compressors and whatnot. Now this one, we're gonna go with Duralast, their gold series of batteries right here. Now this one is rated at 650 cold cranking amps. That's measured at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The other number is gonna be a little bit larger, is 810. That's cranking amps, and that's actually measured at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So you might wonder, how do you figure out which size battery is gonna work for your application? Well, pretty simple for us. I took that battery tray down to our AutoZone, started picking them out, see which one would fit, and this is the one that would fit with the most cold cranking amps. So let's get this thing moving.
Yeah, it looks like you got this all finished up. Looking good.
Yep, yeah, we're moving right along.
You think you can give me a hand with these wheel tubs? I got to get them back in so I can mock them up a little bit and get a couple tacks, and we get this thing welded up.
That'll finish up the bed there, but that's all we got time for today on Music City Trucks.
Yeah, if you want to see a little bit more of this build, go check us out on Instagram at Music City Trucks. You know, I was really hoping you were going to put them batteries on that wood floor. I think that would have looked real nice.
Be more natural, right?
Let's get to welding.